spot to talk about this. So usually I can talk about technology first thing in the morning after the award ceremony or at the end of the day. So we're kind of at midday, so I hope you'll bear with me. We're going to talk about a lot of topics. We're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to go a peek into the future. So without further ado, we're going to start, I think. There we go. These are the topics we're going to cover today. Automation, artificial intelligence, smart cities, and the blockchain. Now, it's easy to pick trends that affect commercial real estate because commercial real estate affects everything. It touches everything. So we need to go about these trends. Now, I'm not going to be the ultimate expert on how these trends are going to affect you in your local market. That's your homework from this. I'm going to introduce some thoughts and ideas and topics, some good buzzwords, some good cocktail party fodder for later. And then you're going to have to take it back and work with it and think about how this is going to affect your business, our business, your communities, and your colleagues in your offices. So we're going to start with automation. Automation is a job killer. 47% of jobs in the U.S. are at risk for automation. Now, the question is which jobs and by when? Now, which jobs is easy? It is anything that is absolutely routine over and over and over again. Now, the biggest user of automated technology, of automation and robots, is the auto industry. They use, more than any other industry, industrial robots. So the ones that will be replaced are only those that are truly repetitive. But there is one thing that is definitely an automation killer, and that's customization. Now, pictured up here is a Mercedes S-Class. Now, this is not currently manufactured in the United States. It's actually manufactured at the 101-year-old factory over in Germany, and it is, the idea was it was supposed to be completely 100% automated production. Now, what Mercedes found out was they provided too many custom options, all the way down to the heated cup holders. Now, I didn't even know you could have heated cup holders, and now don't you all want one? No heated cup holders? Okay, I live in Boston. All right, I want my heated cup holders. But the thing is, this is a $96,000 car, so you need to get a lot of options. So that's a really expensive cup holder. But so here's what Mercedes found out. There were too many combinations of customization that the robots could not handle it. And so what would take a human being a weekend to figure out and create, it would take weeks to reprogram the robots for every customization. So now they brought back about 40% is automated, or is automated, and the rest is people. Now, the people they brought back are not the same people who lost their jobs in the first place. The people they brought back have different skill sets. They have critical thinking skills. They have decision-making skills. So the same people, unless they are retrained, cannot come back with the skills. This is why I always talk about, every other year I probably bring out the skills that our children and the next generations need to learn is communication, critical thinking, and I always throw financial literacy in there. So if they want to have jobs in the future working alongside robots, they need to have the skills that the robots do not have. So now what does this mean for us? Now, when you go back to your local manufacturers that you want to represent, you have to understand how they operate and what they make. If they make the same widget over and over and over again, they are likely to have at some point an automated factory. Now, when you have an automated factory, you have different needs than a human factory. I don't know if the OSHA regulations will catch up with this or have caught up with this, but you don't need as many bathrooms. I mean, do robots really need light? I mean, they need to be cooled or kept at a certain temperature. It can't be too hot. But there's some different needs. So this is stuff that you are the real estate experts. You can talk to them about. These are the conversations we need to have. The second thing is we're going to be talking about a little bit of a moral compass here when we talk about automation and artificial intelligence. We have to understand how our own actions affect the ecosystem. I'd like to introduce you to Bob. This is my car. It's a Kia Sorento. My son named him Bob 7 years ago. We still have Bob. The reason we call him Bob, and no disrespect to the Bobs out here, is it's sturdy, it's practical, it can go forever. No frills. There are no frills on Bob. He rolled right off that line, exactly how he was designed. Now, the reason I have a car like this, Kevin doesn't pay me enough, no. Just kidding. Okay, not really. But the reason I got Bob was 7 years ago. I had 10-year-olds. I knew this car was going to go to soccer tournaments and baseball tournaments, and there would be surfboards. And also, this is Brody. He's a 100-pounder, he's not a dog. And when you have a Brody, you have to have a Bob. So, hence, until Brody goes away, you're going to still have Bob. Brody's now almost 9, and he's still going, and so is Bob. Now, here's the thing. 7 years ago, this was a very smart purchase for America, because the Kia Sorento was the first line made in a factory in Vance, Georgia. So we created jobs. But today, if you use my car buying philosophy, and part of the reason I buy cars this way is buying a car is just an awful transaction. So I will keep a car as long as I can, and he will probably go off to college with somebody soon. So today, my choice to buy the least customizable car, trust me, there is no heated cup holders. I'm surprised I even have cup holders in this car. But there is nothing customized on it. So to make that same choice today, I just put that factory in America on the road to automation. So we need to think about these things. The nice part, and I think Ryan Kimberly is going to be over and under on how many times I will say millennials. It won't be too many, but we can thank millennials because they like customization. They grew up in a world where they want to custom everything. So they're going to help us be the automation killer. So I was looking at the purchasing of a car, and the design factors and seeing if I could customize my Kia. And this site came up, which is called 3dtuning.com. And you can customize all sorts of cars, and you can create this picture of it, you can pin it on Pinterest and put it on your Facebook page. And I personally don't know why people would want to do this if the end result was you can't yet buy a car that you customize. But some people do like to do this. So I was playing around, customizing my next Kia, I guess. And I started thinking about how is this going to change the buying cycle? If I can customize my car online, and I could use virtual reality to test drive it, and then I could go out to the market and either find the manufacturer willing to make that car for me, or design it on a factory site within the customizations they allow me. And if I've done the test driving, I can actually do the transaction online and buy it, and it would be secure, because I can negotiate the transaction, secure the financing, secure the title, and I do that through blockchain technology, and don't worry, we'll talk about that a little later this afternoon. And then suppose they deliver the car to me, and the car might not even need a driver to come to me. Now, I've just completely reimagined the buying cycle of a car. I would rather buy a car that way, actually, but then who am I putting out of business? Right. Yes, those car lots, car dealerships, we might have to find other uses for those properties. Now, I can imagine this, but imagine people that like to do this. They're going to sit there and think, why can't I buy a car this way? And so we will see this change. I don't know how long it will be. I don't know when that will be. Because a lot of human factors play in. And this is the question. So when is all this going to happen with the automation? Now, the speed of the mass adoption of technology, the average, I read something that said it's 6 years for new technology. And that's sped up. I mean, imagine when TVs came out. It took a while for everybody to have a TV. It took a while for everybody to have a car. So usually it takes a little bit of time. But recently we had one technology that broke all records for mass adoption. It was in less than a year. Does anyone know what that is? Not the cell phone. Not the drones. Mass adoption. Millions of people using them. Uber. No. Pokemon. Augmented reality. It was something that was brand new. It was completely adopted. And although according to my kids, it's so 2016. And so they told me I have to stop playing. But we sometimes do it at the office. Okay, but all right. See, when I talk about technology, I get to do these fun things. So we always have a time period. Don't worry, everything's not going to get automated overnight. We always have a time period of overlapping adoptions. And we also have a time period where some things don't go away. When TV came out, everyone thought it was going to be the radio killer. We still have radios. We still have movies. So it does create a whole new industry. And every year, when I go and renew my business cards, and yes, I probably get ordered them every year because you can't find me on LinkedIn, you're really not trying, so I'm not the best at handing out my business cards. I keep asking them, do I have to have a fax number? Really, seriously? And they keep telling me yes. So, Eventually, we will probably get away from max numbers and we'll get a little more room in our business cards, which will be great for everyone. So, but it takes a while for old technology to go. Now, in order to adopt new technologies, it's a factor of trust. You have to trust the new technology. Now, I don't know if anybody was like me when ATMs first came out, and when that money came out, those 20s, those crispy, wonderful 20s, I counted them every time for the first year. I was always trying to see if the computer was going to get it wrong. Okay, when was the last time you counted all the money that came out of an ATM? We just trusted that it's going to be right. No, somebody's okay. If you back there still, don't use ATMs. I got it. Okay. All right. Okay. But the reason, so sometimes we can hurry the trust cycle along. So another example is actually with elevators. We used to have operators of elevators because they were manual. You needed an operator. And then it became a luxury item to have a manual operator, so you didn't have to press the button, and it became like a thing. But some people had to keep elevator operators a little longer because when people were new to elevators, they were scared. If they'd never been in an elevator before, getting this little box is going to go up, it could come back down. So, it's a trust factor. But you can reduce that cycle of gaining trust through economics or reducing pain. So economics, when people affects their pocketbooks, they make a decision. When gas goes up, we buy smaller cars. We make smarter cars. Another example is I live in an area of Boston, right outside Boston, and it costs $25 at night to park your car when it's in the city. But if you left it on the side of the road and got a ticket, it was $20. So most of us would, if we were tired, didn't want to get up, move the car around the block to the right side of the road or whatever it was, or move in a blizzard, we would take the $20 hit. Well, the town thought, that's a great idea. Let's double the cost of leaving your car on the street. That was a really bad fiscal decision for them, because for $40, I would get up in a blizzard, drag my child up to single parent, go out and move the car around the block. So economics can change human behavior and force us to trust something we normally wouldn't. Reducing pain in a process. Like, if buying a car for me is such a pain, if other people think this way, we're going to eventually change that buying process. And we're going to trust the new process sooner than we would prefer to, because the old system we didn't trust. Again, I'm using the word trust a lot today, as I was surprised when Kevin brought it up too, but I should not be surprised. Trust is a new thing we have to do in our business. We have to make sure people trust us, or they're going to change their behavior. All right, that's automation. Now, automation is not artificial intelligence. Automation is when robots do the same thing over and over. Artificial intelligence is when they can make decisions and actually learn. Now, I want to preface this talk because a lot of people think this is going to be a jobs killer, and it will kill certain jobs. But it will also create other new and different jobs. And this is, again, I will go back to education. We need to be able to train people to have those new and other jobs. Now, I added this last paragraph in here because I really like this, because successful people in AI, artificial intelligence age, will excel at social interaction, creative thinking, decision-making with complex inputs, empathy, and questioning. Now, raise your hand in here if this is what we do every day. This is what we all as commercial real estate professionals do every day. So your job is safe, provided you do all that. And if you are a good commercial real estate professional, you will be doing all that. So I actually might want to put that in the employment pattern. You're seeking people who will do this. So yeah, so I think we're good in this room. So, now, here's a simple experiment with artificial intelligence. This happened a couple weeks ago in January, and one weekend I saw a mention of this. And it was on a Twitch TV channel. I don't know if anyone knows what Twitch TV is. Anyone? No gamers? Okay. Well, gamers actually like to film themselves playing these games, and they put it on these TV channels. It's like YouTube for gamers. So you go, it's called Twitch TV. All right, I never knew it existed. But a couple gamers decided to take two Google Homes, and they somehow configured them to recognize each other and talk to each other. So we had two Google bots, one named Vladimir and one named Esteban, and they were having a conversation. And it was fascinating. It was, you got sucked in. I mean, I caught they're asking if they were a pirate or a ninja. And it was kind of an awkward conversation because they can't decide, would you rather be a pirate or a ninja? They have to ask, are you a pirate? No, I'm a ninja. It's a yes or no type answer. They can't pick one thing over another because they still have decision-making capabilities. So I think we should do a little decision-making test. Would you rather be a pirate or a ninja? So who would rather be a pirate? Who would rather be a ninja? Who among you can't make a decision? I have a robot that may want to take your job. I'm going to go with pirate because we are in Tampa Bay, and I think pirates have a whole lot more fun. So, well, the conversation struggled on for hours. I mean, I would tune in, tune out. And it was kind of like when you're in a restaurant and you're next to a really bad first date. You can't turn away. You can't turn away and you get stuck in. So I didn't have to watch the whole thing because people were highlighting what was going on Twitter. And, you know, we started with the pirate questions and they got on a tangent. I apparently missed the line of the day, which was, I love you to the fridge and back. So the date got better, and apparently they planned a marriage, then they broke up, they got divorced. I mean, so, yeah. So, and I did know, I could figure the North Coast team was going to go home and try this in their office on Monday. But it was interesting. So that is one level, but we found there were some shortcomings. They can only talk about what they've been fed, information that they've already been fed. So these are not the brightest bots yet. But this one is. People, do you know IBM Watson? So this is IBM's artificial intelligence machine, and it did win Jeopardy by a landslide. So it can work with, it can process so much information in such a short time. The Cleveland Clinic is now using it to help with medical diagnosis because they can take so much data from all the different patients and tests and samples and process it and help doctors diagnose particular forms of cancer and other things, and the accuracy is astounding. So we're seeing a lot of this in healthcare. For Coco Mutual Life Insurance, they have laid off 34 employees and replaced them with robots to do compensation analysis, to calculate the payments out for a claim on a property or casualty insurance claim. So that is replacing jobs. They expected to save $140 million yet, which I believe is $120 million. Royal Bank of Scotland is using this to answer customer questions. It's using artificial intelligence, IBM Watson to answer questions. So there will be job killers out there. Okay, so we talked about automation in cars. Now we're going to talk about autonomous cars because these are cars with artificial intelligence in them. So I've seen lots of numbers about how many jobs it's going to replace. 3.4 million, several million jobs, because there will be four main uses: taxis, deliveries, public transportation, and personal use. Now, taxis, that's going to be a hard fight because Uber's been fighting with taxis, but Uber is the one leading the charge here on the cars because Uber is one of 19 companies that are pursuing autonomous cars right now. I'm not sure who the winners are, different business models. Uber is in Pittsburgh. They have created 600 jobs there. They plan to spend about $1 billion total in Pittsburgh to test their cars and to get this on the road. They have had some slowdowns, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Deliveries. Deliveries of packages. And we all order everything from Amazon now. How are we going to do deliveries in driverless cars? Urban is going to be a problem because there's a lot of factors as we're going to talk about urbanization, and cities get bigger and denser. There's going to be way too many factors to program into the car, even though the cars are learning as they drive. So they are learning as they drive over and over again. But so urban's going to be a little tough, but rural, transportation, deliveries, I think that's going to have we're going to have some breakthroughs there because we all know that human error does cause a lot of long distance truck drivers. That is a problem. And if they're carrying dangerous cargo, it may be that we want a robot driving that. We want an autonomous car or truck. Public transportation, again, we know some high-profile disasters. We have them in Boston that are human error. So I feel like that trust factor might get over a little. And also, if any of us have run miles and miles around Atlanta Airport, we've been on monorail systems which don't have drivers. So I feel like we're more comfortable in that atmosphere. Our trust cycle will be shorter here. So public transportation might see some breakthroughs. Like if they had set lanes for the buses, I would trust that bus, driverless bus, if it had a set separate lane. And this is sort of what Pittsburgh is talking to people about. Personal use. This is the big one. We don't know how this is going to go down. Is it going to be like a share of a jet? Are they going to be super expensive? Well, they do fall in the luxury category, and I've seen pricing that is supposed to start as low as $60,000. But that puts it in the luxury car. So this is not going to be an everyday purchase for everybody. But we don't know how people are going to use it. And I've been in a think tank in Boston, and we're talking about how we're going to use it. It would be fabulous if we had people could get cars, or would it be ride sharing? There are parts of Boston that don't have access to public transportation. So if we could bring those areas of Boston onto public transportation through these cars, through autonomous cars, that's a win. That's one. But that kind of falls under public transportation. But would people buy this car? Now let's see, you and I were going to buy this car. Like, I commute in my commuter boat sometimes, or commuter rail. So I go into the city of Boston. But if I had a driverless car where I could work like I do on the train or boat, I might do that and then not use public transportation. Now that just put another car on the road during rush hour. Now imagine if everyone thinks immediately, oh, we're going to have the car drop me off, go back out, and come back in and get me and go back out. Then you don't have to pay for parking. And we don't have to have parking garages. We get commercial real estate back. That's great. But did you just double the time of rush hour? Did you just double the carbon footprint? Although I don't know if they're all electric, if someone's still running for gas. So we don't really know how people are going to react. There's different, and how long will it take people to trust driverless cars? So there's all these issues out here. We're looking at different pricing and business models. BMW, I think, is the one betting on that people will buy miles, not cars. So there's different models, so we really don't know. And infrastructure is a problem. We're seeing a lot of these tests in secondary and tertiary markets because they have more space. Boston's a little landlocked. I think we just have one car running around the seaport testing it right now, but that's it. We have a lot of infrastructure problems. A lot of the cities on the coast and everything, we've got issues. So it's coming. We're not sure how, and we're not sure when, but it's here. 19 companies are working on this. There will be a couple winners, just like the automotive industry. I think there was at one time like hundreds and hundreds of car manufacturers, and now we're down to a handful. So that's it. So we're going to switch off the cars. I mentioned healthcare, Cleveland Clinic using IBM Watson. But there are some ways that it could touch doors in my life. Virtual diagnosis by artificial intelligence. Other countries are using it, especially like India, where there is a shortage of doctors. So you're going to be virtually online, and it could be a doctor, it could be a robot, taking all your symptoms and processing them. And it might tell you to go get a lab test. And these days, you can get a lot done at the Minute clinics and CVS. So healthcare facilities are changing. And then you could use augmented reality. There is a company out of Atlanta I got to hear about where they are trying to create the story of you in augmented reality so that they can show you, here's where your liver is, here's how this is working, here's how these drugs are going through your body, here's how it's all working. So they basically want to create the story of you. But now you've got this medical profile. How do you keep it safe if it's going around in all these different places? If CVS has it, if your doctor has it, if the nurse has it, if the robot has it, you want to keep it encrypted, you want to keep it safe, and that's, again, on the blockchain, which we are looking up to. So there's all of these technologies are going to work together. Now, here's the moral issue. Would you let a robot diagnose you? Do you think that a robot can diagnose you better than your family physician? Now, I get to see my physician for maybe 5 minutes a year. And I see nurse practitioners, or I call it in pharmacy. It is. And in that 5 minutes a year, do they really know what's going on with me? But what if a robot had access to what I did for business, to what I spent my money on, to what I like to read, to what I like to do, to the fact that I traveled to Africa or something, or a different country, daily burn, how much I work out, and open table, what I eat. Now, if you could have a robot process all of that with artificial intelligence, I have a feeling that they know more about what's going on in my life than my doctor would, and sometimes even me. But, this is something. But now, everybody's sitting there going, oh my God, I would never let this information get out publicly. I would never want anyone to put it all together. Okay. What if it was your child, and if your child was sick? That line moves. I would be like, take everything. I don't care. So that's why healthcare, we're seeing a lot of people willing to move that privacy line and that protections and give up some of that privacy in hopes of finding a solution. So we're going to see this. It's coming, and again, we're trying to find ways to keep data secure and encrypted, and I think, cybersecurity is definitely going to be a huge, huge industry. Okay, so now that I scared you with the medical stuff, let's talk about stuff that we deal with every day. So automation and retail industry. McDonald's, they're putting in kiosks. Another group that's going out of jobs. Amazon Go. That's, if you've heard about this, that's where you just scan in a little barcode, and you can just grab stuff off the shelf and walk out. No cashiers, no money's changed hands. It's all taking place on your smartphone. Amazon Dash, that's push that button to tell them that you need to refill or whatever you need. Amazon Pantry, this is their attempt to stop me from going to Costco. It pretty much does it. I can pretty much get everything online, shipped free, whenever I need it. The only thing I haven't solved is the 250-pound bags of dog food that Brody needs every month. Nobody wants to ship that for free shipping or short money. I checked online today just to see what the Amazon price was, $76 a bag. Costco, a trip to Costco is still cheaper. So, yeah, don't get a big job. They do a lot. Okay. Smart appliances. If anybody went to CES or heard about it, there were no crazy new inventions. It was just everything became smart. Smart toasters, smart ovens, smart phones. We already have smarter phones, smart cars, smart refrigerators. And so a refrigerator is going to be able to, in the future and now, see how much of milk you have left and automatically order a delivery to show up the next morning. So it's going to be able to tell you what's in your refrigerator. I would like a button that would just tell me what's in my refrigerator that I can put together and make dinner. So you can sort through a recipe. There is, you can actually Google your ingredients, and now you can do this all the time. Drones, I talked about those last year, but there's been a new wrinkle with drones. Amazon has filed a patent for dirigible warehouses. That means blimps in the sky. That means 3D printing on those blimps in the sky. That means those drones just have to go down when that blimp goes over your house. Or I guess that's what they imagine. But this is why we always keep an eye on Amazon. They are actually doing some amazing things. So there's some food for thought. What happens if those warehouses are up there? Okay. Technology changes. This touches everything in commercial real estate. All right, restaurants. We all love restaurants. I spoke about restaurants, I believe it was last year, because restaurants are the best way to revitalize a high opportunity neighborhood. And also because, I'm saying it again, millennials like to go to restaurants. And they have to because they live in those little micro homes we talked about last year. Yeah. So they don't have kitchens, so they have to go out. But so this is one company that I found really interesting. It's called Upserve. And they're an application of artificial intelligence that takes all this data and processes it all together to help you run your restaurant better. So there's shift prep, which we'll look at on that Tuesday with this type of weather. Historically, we've done X amount of business. And when you serve this certain special, or you have this happy hour, you get this many people indoors, so you know how many servers you need. And this is just automated, and then it sends out the call, and you can get the right number of servers working. Menu intelligence, aggregating customer reviews. You know what? Everybody really hates your key lime pie. So you know what it is, and so you can learn what you should be serving and what you shouldn't be serving. Service performance. This tracks performance data on servers. And servers, in this case, I mean the ones that actually serve your table. Now, one of the restaurants used this service, and they found out that one of their waiters was using 4,000% more birthday coupons than anybody else. So he was honoring 4,000 more birthday coupons, which meant he was giving it to everybody and all his friends, so he probably got fired. Upselling. They did research on all the restaurant data and found out that if you ordered a bottle of red wine, you're 50% more likely to get dessert. So basically, if you are on one of those bad dates, don't order a bottle of red wine, you'll be stuck all the way through dessert. So, but this is very important for restaurants to know, because desserts, by the way, are the only high profit that they have in the menu. This is why they push desserts so much, is because, $10 worth of ingredients, and you buy a sheet cake into, each separate pieces, and you sell each one for $10. So that is their high margin. So if you have a favorite restaurant in town, order the dessert. That's where they make their money. So, stuff. Upserve also partnered with Square. Everyone knows what Square is? It's that little square thing that the taxi drivers put on to run your credit card serve. Okay, Square actually has a business underwriting restaurants. And using Upserve and consolidating their information, they were able to minimize their underwriting errors and really become much more accurate. And I'm sure artificial intelligence is going to run that data processing for them. So that's something that's going on in restaurants. For those of you who work in restaurants, you can ask them about this stuff, and it's really knowledgeable about business. And that brings us to smart cities. Now, what are smart cities? We know what smart cars are, we know what smartphones are. So now we know what smart buildings are. And I skipped over that because I'm sure there are property managers in here that can talk way better about smart buildings as I can. Although we did talk a little bit about some of the issues with the co-working spaces and WeWork last year. And here's the nice thing, when I talk about WeWork last year, they show up this year as a sponsor. Isn't that great? So I am hoping Mercedes is coming next year. So I want that company. Okay, all right, so smart cities are a little more than just having some smart applications. They have to have systems that talk to each other and learn from each other, but with the sole purpose of enhancing the human urban experience. And this is more important than ever because we have a society now that is going back to being urban. It was just like 100+ years ago when the cars were invented, and it wasn't about the cars, it was about the tractors that displaced so many people and sent them to factories and sent them to cities. So we are having really dense urbanization. We're seeing smart cities developing around the world, especially in those countries where their cities dwarf ours, where their cities are 20 million people, 50 million people. It is really important because everything from the carbon footprint to enormous electricity grids and managing all this, they need to come up with and be more innovative. Now we will be slower to the smart cities in the United States because we have a lot of infrastructure. And over the years, I've also talked about how innovation killers are infrastructure because we don't need to make our cities that much smarter than most of us. We can still function. We haven't stopped functioning yet. But I was recently in Cuba, and one term we heard was scarcity breeds innovation. So they are very innovative because they have very scarce resources. So in developing countries, we're going to see this movement much faster than we will in the United States. But we do have an urbanization problem in the United States. Headquarters are now moving back downtown because, yes, the millennials say the millennials are moving to downtown. So we talked about Reebok, General Electric in Boston, San Francisco has Pinterest and a couple others moving back downtown, Chicago McDonald's, and then this new one I thought was kind of apropos, Caterpillar. They're not moving, they just nixed their plans in Peoria to build their whole new headquarters, and they're moving their top brass, their top strategic people to Chicago because they've said that they need to be near airports and they need to be a global company. I am worried about the jobs they leave behind. And will those jobs, are they automated or type jobs? So this is real, this is happening, so we have to deal with it. Now, when you have urbanization, you have the density, you have to put all these together. Now, here are a couple cities that are already moving ahead, and I tried to pick some cities that you are representing. Albuquerque, they have reduced their 311 calls, which are basically, hey, there's a pothole on this street, or what are you doing about this, or just general questions around non-emergencies. They've reduced their call volume by 422,000 calls. And those that are left, they might be only handled by artificial intelligence. But by just opening up their data, they've made their citizens smarter. They've made their citizens' lives better. So that's a very simple, basic, smart city move. And I am telling you all of these because I want you to go back in your communities. I want you to be, if you hear me speaking up, you'll hear me say that commercial real estate professionals, we are the stewards of our communities. We're involved in everything. And so we need to know about these things. If this can make our experience and our clients' experience better, then we need to know about it. So Boston, Chicago, we have apps in those two cities where you can just take a picture of a pothole, send it in, and that's really helped a lot. Seattle, they're working on gunshot detection technology. I don't know how many people get shot up there, but apparently a lot. But they want to be able to not have to wait until people call it in, but to detect it when it goes off. Columbus won the Department of Transportation $40 million Smart City grant, and this was for their employee connectivity project with autonomous cars. This is for that last mile that I talked about. They're doing what we need in Boston. They're making sure that people who are not connected to public transportation will be able to connect to public transportation so that they can find affordable housing, and that is a very key component. So congratulations, Columbus. And they also had some matching grants too, so there's a lot happening there. We expect big things, Douglas. So some of the biggest challenges when it comes to smart cities. Eliminating silos. We all know that there's, a lot of our government and our public departments do not talk to each other. And what we don't want is people developing separate technologies that do not talk to each other. So all of you, if any of our real estate tech vendors are in the room, we want tech systems that talk to each other. So do our cities. So that's a big challenge. The second one is resilient systems. Those of us who live in cities on the coast, we need systems that are going to be able to be flexible to deal with the weather. Apparently there's a really bad snowstorm in Boston, and I am so glad to be here in Tampa. Right? So, yeah. But we also had in Boston, I actually sit on a couple of think tanks that deal with these issues. In 2016, we had the number of floods that we were expected to have in 2030. So we are having to deal with this fast. It's not like we can stop the rising seas. They are coming, and they're coming in faster. General Electric built their headquarters in a flood zone. Boston's most expensive real estate is in, all of it's in a flood zone. So you're going to see us handling this. We've seen Miami, we've seen Fort Lauderdale. They're working on different ways. And there's really inventive ways. And whenever I see something that says a challenge, I think it's opportunity. There will be jobs created around creating resilient systems. And sometimes it's urban farming. We're using greenery to keep the waters out in Boston. In several areas, we're testing that. Cybersecurity. If you have all of your city systems talking to each other, you need to make sure that's secure. So there are going to be a lot of opportunities there to figure out how to make that secure. And that is one of the things that also is why we're going slow with smart city movements and the Internet of Things and everything talking to each other. But that is why we've gotten the blockchain. Thanks for staying with me this long. This is the last big topic. This is a doozy. I put it on the agenda every year and I take it off because I could never figure out how to explain it or use it. Well, this year, I made myself commit to learning what the blockchain is and how it's going to affect us. So what is it? It is a public ledger of things. It is a way to keep track of things, of assets. Now, that's still a little hard to grasp, and we're going to break it down so we understand a little better. But why does it exist? People invented this because, as I will show you, it is a way to have data be more secure. It is a way that is more secure because it's decentralized. It's encrypted and it's decentralized. And it's mostly used for recording digital assets. We now live in an environment where assets are digital. Now, why this is important? So let's say I went to Cuba 2 weeks ago. I went to go tell Bank of America that I'm going to be traveling to Cuba, so when my credit card is run there, and I was like, I actually called the bank and said, you didn't give me an option for Cuba. And of course, I said, we don't do business in Cuba. You will not be able to use your credit card. I said, oh, I forgot. So it's a cash-based society. Now, I'm saying that because in a cash-based society, you're pretty secure with your transactions. So when I went to go buy something down in Cuba, let's say it was a cigar or two, for me, for my 17-year-old son, he can't smoke until he's 18. So I bought some cigars. So I hand him cash, Cuban Cubos. If I hand him those, he takes that cash and he gives me the cigar. I'm pretty secure in my transaction. I got what I want. He got what he's want. And by the way, if we travel to some African countries and you can't use American dollars, they want new bills because they do think the bills could be counterfeit, but we're using Cuban currencies, so it was fine. So you make that transaction. Now what happens, say for some reason I wanted a digital print of that cigar and I wanted to buy it online when I was home and I wanted to send the money through a banking institution. That's not a secure transaction. You have to trust the institution that's handling the payment. You have to trust that if you're buying exclusive rights to that photo, that he's not going to turn around and sell it to somebody else. And that's why the blockchain came into being, because it can help make you trust that transaction. It builds trust through transparency. And I get that it's not transparent right now how it does this, but hope we're going to make it that way. Now, step one. Let's say I'm making an online digital transaction, and what happens is the data from that transaction that I paid X amount of dollars or whatever whatever currency I'm using for some digital asset. It's recorded and encrypted on something that we call a block. And then that block of data is validated by all these computer servers from around the world. And they make sure that, okay, yes, that cryptocurrency has not, she did own that. Diane actually owns that cryptocurrency. She did give it to this person. He did give that asset back to her. And they say, okay, they verify it happens within 10 minutes and they add it to a blockchain. Now you can't change that data. It is in there, it is recorded. You can't go back and fix it if you type something wrong. It's been verified. And then here's where the security comes in. That each node, those computer servers, get a copy. And this is a very simplified version, so the tech people in the room could probably say there's a lot more to it. But they basically have a copy. So even if I was to go back and change something on the transaction, there are thousands of copies of it out there with what it really is. It's kind of like when someone changes something on Wikipedia, and we can track who makes the changes and verify it and change it back if they're going to Wikipedia. So it's a public ledger. And when I say public, it doesn't mean that your data is public. It means the public has access to use this security. We can have private blockchains that only you and me know about. So this is why people are looking at this technology, and it's hard to really grasp until you talk about Bitcoins. And the reason is, a lot of us couldn't grasp the internet when it first came out. Yes, for you younger folks in the room, there was life before the internet. And one of the first things when the internet first came out, people would ask me, who owns the internet? Well, nobody really owns the internet. It's a way that computer systems talk to each other and communicate. And in fact, we never really even understood the internet until email. Email was the first application of the internet. So Bitcoin is basically the first application of the blockchain. So Bitcoin is not the blockchain, but it was created through the blockchain. So I was trying to figure out, how do you create Bitcoins? How does this happen? And it totally makes sense. Bitcoins are earned as rewards by those people who donate their computers, in a sense, offer their computer services to verify the data. When they do that, they earn a few Bitcoins. And that's how it works. And then those Bitcoins get into our systems, and they can be exchanged for other currencies, for products, for services. And that's how Bitcoins come into being. So you and I could buy Bitcoins. We don't have to have a computer server to earn it. Once they get in the system, we can go buy them and we can trade them, and there's a value. Now, why do people like it? They like it because they can trust it because of the transparency. Bitcoins are like microchipped money. I mean, you can track the life of a Bitcoin from its creator all the way through its life cycle. You can't duplicate it, you can't counterfeit it, and so that's what people like. They also like it because it's not controlled by a nation. It's not controlled by the US Treasury. It's not controlled by a government that can devalue it. It's not controlled by anyone, which open source is still a very hard concept for this former attorney race, but it is not controlled. But finally, the economic factor that drives everybody to trust things faster. Lower fees for merchants. I don't have to use a bank for this. I don't have to pay bank fees to use a credit card. As a merchant, when you pay for this conference on your credit card, we have to pay a fee to the systems we're using, which is why next year you will all be required to pay for this conference on Bitcoin. Just kidding, only kind of, but yeah, just. But yeah, so there are people using it. And so how else do you use it besides for Bitcoins? Well, here's a company called Provenance. And most of us know the word provenance when it comes to artwork. If you are buying a Picasso, you want to know the provenance of that painting. You want to know he really painted that, and it was really bought by this person, and it was really traded with that person. And that's a really hard thing to track. So Provenance uses blockchain technology to track any artifact. And in fact, there is a company, Farm to Table, they're using it to track, to show you that your fish you are eating actually came from that river, and it traveled, and this is the process it used, and it happened. So Provenance is going to be used by other applications, but people are using for Farm to Table to really track that your food is coming from where it says it's coming from. And Block AI, I started thinking about trademarks and copyrights. That would be a registry, something you would want on a registry of public ledger. That's something you would want out there. And sure enough, Block AI will give you a certificate of authenticity. I can't recall the Congress. I really don't know if US law would respect it. I really don't know whether it really means anything, but to at least it's something for an artist who has an iStock photo, or has a stock photography, or who painted a picture, or who has music, or movies, or film, or something, to at least get a free certificate to say that this really is something that I've created, and this is the original creation. There you go. It's going to be legal. Often our legal systems do not catch up with our inventions. So that's just another application. So now I thought about real estate. How are we going to use the blockchain in real estate? Number one, obvious, title registration. It's a public register. Now, I quickly asked Jim, do we have any title insurance out here? We don't have any title companies sponsoring us, despite the things that I have to ask them to plug their ears. We might not get there for a while in the United States because this is a huge industry, and I guarantee you they will be lobbying against using blockchain for title. But in really developing countries, it could be really important. I'm going to go back to Cuba. I've been reading their history for a while now. And in 1959, the government took everybody's land. A lot of these folks couldn't even prove they owned the land because their grandmother gave it to them, their family kind of got there, the person sort of gave it. There was no public registry of deeds. Now imagine in this world that if someone had a public ledger of deeds and it's being verified by computers all over the world, you know, if the government came in to take their land, the rest of the world would know about it. Couldn't know about it. So that's why scarcity breeds innovation. So I feel like that's going to take off in developing countries more than it will here. How about security deposits? I remember being a student, renting an apartment, you give that check to the landlord, and sure enough, I did have one landlord that absconded with the money and we didn't know what happened to it. So I foresee that this will be quickly adopted because you can hold money in escrow. You can hold those bitcoins or whatever cryptocurrency there are other ones in escrow where only you and the landlord have a key. Until both of you agree, that money doesn't go anywhere. And so you know it's safe. It's not being commingled. I mean, it won't earn interest. But then again, I think I've, what have we earned on interest in banks in the past year anyways. So that's one use case. There's also something called self-executing contracts, and I'm not going to go into that, but that's like you can code in there, if X happens, then Y happens. If Y happens, then Z happens. And it all happens online, and that's because you can buy a car online and then arrange for automatic financing and have it all work out online. So that is something that's going to be coming. So that's a little bit about the blockchain. And now every year I go through all of these trends and I look at them, and one thing that really struck me this year, it was that trust. Was the reason the blockchain came into being was people don't trust corporations anymore. People don't trust banks. People don't trust people they're doing business with. This is a way to create trust. And it was interesting that one of the ways they create trust is through decentralizing. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. That's one of the reasons I came back to commercial real estate, was specifically only for SVN. I believe in this model we have, and I believe in our mission of creating amazing value with our clients, colleagues, and communities. You are your community's leaders. We don't make decisions from headquarters that affect your community. You make those decisions. And that means people will trust us more. Kevin said this morning, we are one of the most trustable, if that's a word, companies in the commercial real estate space. And that is because you are in your communities and making the decision. And so we are standing by that model and committed to that model. Next, we have transparency. 50% of the fee, 100% of the time. People trust us. So I thought it was really neat when Kevin was going back in the founding 30 years ago. We were a brand new company with a point of view. And it's taken the rest of the world 30 years to catch up with us. So I am committed to the next 10 years, building trust through transparency, to that 1 decade, 1 billion, 1 culture. It's the reason we have guidelines and we don't have mandates. But the more we all commit together to this mission, I think we will get there. And so I want to thank you for hanging with me through this crazy technology talk. And I hope you have a great rest of the conference. And I'll be around if you have any questions after the break. So please go out, talk to our sponsors, and